Welcome to another episode of the podcast. If you haven't done so already, please press subscribe and leave a rating and review if you would. I really would appreciate it. On this episode of the show, I have Brian Zatulove. He's the founder of Emotiv.io, an AI-powered B2B SaaS platform, and we get into all kinds of stuff. We talked about artificial intelligence and the robots taking over the earth and things like that for the majority of the show, actually. I had a really fun conversation. So without any further ado, please welcome Brian Zatulove.
Welcome to the Nick Ingersoll Show.
What it do? Thanks for being on the show, dude.
Thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
Yeah, man. We were just talking about all kinds of weird tech stuff.
Yes, sir.
And I have some questions about text messaging.
Yes.
I feel like you're the guy to ask.
Let's do it.
Let's do that. So how long is it going to be before robots just like completely take over all communications with human beings?
Yeah, so I think what we'll see is a hybrid approach. So bots and humans will kind of jointly control the conversation for a while. We're still very far away from having a fully automated human conversation.
Yeah. It's funny. Pull that microphone just a little bit closer to your mouth. There you go. Yeah, it's funny too, because like if you listen to the conjecture, right, or like, you know, the hype, you have, you know, your Andrew Yangs of the world being like, everybody's job's gonna be automated and so soon, or like, you know, truck drivers are going away. And I feel like maybe, but also that's going to be like 50 to 100 years from now before it's completely, we're just living in like this crazy tech utopian society of some kind.
Yeah, I mean, think about it also, like, do you really want all of your customers talking to a bot? Or do
Right.
you want that human kind of tone, obviously eluding the brand there?
Yeah, that's an interesting point. Yeah, because it's like, I don't know, I guess if you had the option, it's like, hey, you have an option to pick out a couple of friends. And then and you got cyborg, you know, B27A bot over here.
Right.
And then you got like Brian over there.
Yeah.
You're like, I'll probably have a more meaningful conversation with Brian because it's a human being.
Yeah, no, it's really about building that human relationship. AI and automation can obviously help scale that process, but a human is pretty necessary at this point.
Yeah. Yeah. Dude, have you seen that Boston Dynamics robot that's just like doing backflips and shit?
Is that the one that's flipping on LinkedIn? I see all the time. Yeah.
What's going on, dude?
I thought that was photoshopped, or I did not believe that was real.
I thought I was being tricked, and then I'm like, oh no, that's actually just like...
What's the use case of that thing? Like what?
Murdering people?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Dude,
Do not let that out of the building. You know, iRobot too.
For sure not. I mean...
Coming to Los Angeles. Yeah.
Can you imagine, dude? Holy shit. I mean, it's not going to be that long. So one of the major negative externalities of war is that human life comes at a cost, right? And so every time you send your cousin or your friend or whoever, and you know, I've had a lot of family that's in the military, it's a very scary proposition. And now you have things like drones, and dude, I think it's a very short amount of time before you have these crazy back-flipping robots with like lasers out of their head just fucking just mowing down everything.
I think the next step is self-driving cars.
Yeah.
You know, that is the equivalent. You know, probably equally as dangerous too.
Yeah.
Or not.
Yeah.
Depends how you look at it.
What's that old, you and I might be a little bit too young for this, actually.
I'm definitely too young.
Yeah. Yeah. Hey, bro, relax. How fucking dare you? Oh, no, it's like some shit from the 80s. It's like a talking car. You know what I'm talking about?
No.
You've seen this? Yeah.
I haven't seen it.
Everyone who's older than me is just like, what are you doing?
Yeah. Hopefully they're not listening to this podcast.
Yeah.
Right now.
Kip. The
Yes.
car was Kip, maybe? Fuck,
Kip.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Who knows? I'm, for sure too young to remember 1980s movies, except for the Gremlins and Ghostbusters.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, Ghostbusters was legit. I feel like as technology progresses and you have AI and robots doing shit like that, you're going to also have the ability to trick people way easier.
You're saying the AI tricking the human.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's where it gets really dangerous, right? Is when the AI is outsmarting human intelligence, you know? That's really what they're building to prevent against right now.
Interesting.
Yeah.
How do you sort of front load the barriers?
That is out of my gap.
Oh, it's out of mine too, but it doesn't matter.
I don't know. I think it comes down to having humans still monitoring the intelligence at that point, you know, because it will get more intelligent than a human if you let it off the hook.
Right.
Yeah.
Dude, do you think we're going to ever let these things breed?
I hope not.
Can you imagine?
I don't know how that would work.
You know?
Yeah, robot porn.
Yeah, it's robots breeding out there, bro.
Oh man,
Just making a little bit of fucking tiny, crazy, murderous robots in your neighborhood.
looking forward to it,
Dude,
yeah.
terrifying. I mean, you're going to allow robots to have leases and shit?
Oh man,
No. Or is it so you have the one sort of concept where you have all these, AI empowered robots that are for lack of a better term, like superhuman, highly, computing insane pieces of technology. But on the other hand, humans are also merging with technology. So I just wonder at what stage, like, you're going to have these sort of cybernetic organisms that are humans with these robots running around together.
Yeah, no, I read a really good book. It's called The Inevitable, actually, and it kind of goes through the future stages of what this will look like. It always starts with some sort of robot assistance, and that robot slowly kind of mechanizes more and more processy until you kind of hit the next state of intelligence where the cycle kind of repeats itself.
Wow.
Yeah, it's super, super interesting stuff. I highly recommend that book.
Is that a fiction or nonfiction book?
No, it's more of a futurist book.
Okay,
yeah.
I'm into it.
I think it hasn't happened yet, so it can't be nonfiction.
That's
yeah,
funny.
we'll see.
Do you read a lot of books like that?
Not really. I think before I started the business, had a lot more time to read.
Yep.
Listen to a lot of cool podcasts like these. But yeah, not a ton of time for books. Audiobooks are good because you can kind of plug them in while you're in the car. I know you don't drive a car.
Yeah.
You're on the motorcycle, right?
True, but I got headphones.
Oh, you
in.
do have headphones. Okay.
Yeah.
How safe is that?
Totally fine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is it like how turned up is this music?
All the way up.
All the way up.
All the
So
way
you
up.
cannot hear a siren or a horn.
I mean, I can hear the horns and sirens, but it might be a little muffled,
Yeah.
By the As I Lie Dying. Yeah.
Yeah. We have a couple people on the team that drive bikes, and I get to hear all the insane stories from them, which is awesome / frightening. So
Yeah. Yeah. If you're not an experienced motorcycle rider, it gets
Yeah.
extra sketchy.
how long have you been riding?
My whole life.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Since
7.
oh wow.
Yeah.
How do you it's like moped type situation?
Dirt
or
bike.
Dirt bike. Okay.
Yeah. So I grew up like way out in the country.
Yeah.
And so, we had like these Honda, I don't even remember what model is, like a CB70, I think it was a 70 or 80 cc, maybe 80 cc motorcycle. And just like in first grade, riding that thing around and,
Wow.
crashing it and shit. And my dad was always a Harley rider.
Yeah.
So he had a 1976 Sportster 1200 XLCH, something like that.
Wow.
So that was the first like street bike I ever rode. But then like his dad rode motorcycles, my mom's dad sold motorcycles in Europe, and then my brother rides, my uncle rides. It's just like this whole family of bikers. Yeah.
Wow. So you were just pretty much bred to bike at that
I think
point?
so. Yeah.
What's the I'm curious the difference riding that thing in LA versus kind of middle of nowhere?
Dude, it is so different. Yeah, my brother was here last year, and he rented a motorcycle, and I can't remember, it's Riders Share or something like that. It's a really cool service.
Oh, wow.
Basically just renting motorcycles from somebody else who owns one. And so we took those bikes into the desert, which was sick, but he had such a great time, right? But the riding, because he's out in the middle of nowhere in Nebraska riding, and then all of a sudden it's like, hey, bro, welcome to LA. Just follow me.
Cut off by like 3 buses.
Straight up.
Yeah.
Dude, it was the first block we went, and then we were on Sunset Boulevard.
Yeah.
Terrible place to start
man.
off. That's where the guy that was renting the bike was at. And he gets to this stoplight, bro, and he's popping a U-turn, and then this like Ferrari just decides to say, fuck it, and so fast towards him, almost clips
my
him.
gosh.
Holy shit.
I don't know how you just made that noise with your mouth, by the way. That's a skill in it. That's another podcast episode. Right
Yeah.
there. It's crazy. I think you definitely need to be raised around bikes in order to really embrace that, I think.
Yeah, dude. Yeah. I mean, it's just, in LA, it's just too dangerous for people.
Luckily, there's not a lot of rain here. I'm sure
Right.
that adds another whole layer to things.
Dude, I thought it would be a good idea to ride in the rain to Calabasas from like central
here.
Los Angeles. Yeah. No, because it was starting to rain, but I'm like, you know what? I like the challenge. So I'm going to do this thing. And so I start going down the 101, bro, getting hit with rain. And I was like, I'm going to die out here. So I pulled off and waited for a little while.
Oh, that was smart. Yeah, good moves right there.
Yeah, when you start hydroplaning on a motorcycle, it's a little different.
That's another level, right?
Yeah,
there.
that's right.
Wow, awesome.
You riding motorcycle? What kind of dangerous shit do you do? What's the most dangerous
shit?
thing? Yeah.
Oh man, there's not a ton there.
Yeah.
I mean, the fact that I'm like really thinking right now is probably not good.
Or is good.
Yeah, or it's good.
Or is good.
Starting a company is extremely dangerous.
That is true. Yeah, that is dangerous.
Different type of dangerous. I don't know. I haven't really ever been into like thrill seeking kind of. I'm not a huge adrenaline junkie.
Me neither.
You must be though.
I'm not though.
There's no way.
I swear to God.
Sorry.
That's the weird thing. Like I don't get. People are like, why do you ride motorcycles? Does that give you adrenaline? I'm like, no.
You become desensitized over time, don't you?
Yeah. There's no adrenaline. It's just kind of, I don't know.
Yeah, it's just
a
how
thing
you
to
get
do.
around.
Yeah.
You probably save a ton of money.
For sure.
Yeah.
Mostly time.
So you don't own a car at all?
No.
Do you plan on owning a car? Do you think when?
No, not really.
No.
I mean, at some point maybe, but
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah.
No. Yeah.
Maybe something just to get to the mountains,
Right.
to go backpacking or hunting or something. Yeah.
Yeah. No, that's insane.
Yeah. And so starting the company is a dangerous thing.
It is.
I mean, so like why did you, like, tell me why you decided to start this business?
Yeah. So this was, this is kind of a longer story, but my co-founder and I, Zach, started our first company in college. We were spending a lot of time in classes, just was kind of getting bored and wanted to do something better with our time. And that's what kind of just drove us to starting that first business. Yeah.
That's sick.
Yeah. It was really just a product of not being totally fulfilled with what you're learning in the classroom. And,
Which is a common problem, I feel like, right? You're sitting in that upper division, whatever class, learning about ISO 900, and you're like, oh my God, I can't.
Yeah, no, the thing about business school also is that it's really not reflective of actual business. Undergrad MBA, you don't learn shit about what the real world is like.
Isn't that the most bizarre shit?
I can't believe how much I paid for that education.
That's what I'm saying. It's the worst investment
it is,
I've ever made in my life.
It's crazy.
Yeah. I don't know how, it's especially because, you were building this business in college and that's the same thing that I was doing in college.
Right.
And, it's like everybody else in class is looking at you like, what are you doing over there? I'm like, oh, making a business.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, they're trying to like learn about business, but it literally has like, I don't know how much is applicable, but it's a very small percentage to what you're doing when you're starting one.
Yeah,
scratch.
no, absolutely. I mean, if you're going to join kind of the IB consulting route, a lot of what you're learning there is super applicable, like definitely worth your time. But it's just a different ballgame.
Yeah,
totally different ballgame.
If you want to go work at GlaxoSmithKline or Kleiner Perkins or one of those big old things, yeah, it's interesting. And so you started the first one, and so what you're doing now is you have this text message platform for businesses. Explain to me sort of how that came into your head, and then sort of what you're doing with it now.
Yeah, so basically we work with a lot of e-commerce brands right now. Our goal is really to build just better relationships with brands and their customers at scale. And we do that through, it's pretty much half human, half AI/automation.
Hence why we were talking about it earlier, folks, in case you were wondering.
But yeah, no, I mean, we're really another performance marketing channel for these brands. To cut through the noise. Obviously, email is becoming super saturated. It's just harder and harder to acquire customers these days and kind of cut through the noise. And messaging is really that next frontier. And I think the way we're doing it as well, combining kind of that human touch with the automation element is super effective.
Yeah. And, I've had the privilege to sort of see the platform grow as you guys are building it. It's actually a super interesting and powerful one too. You're really solving sort of a gap in the marketplace. And I got to wonder, like, is the easiest target email? Is easiest target sort of, Facebook, right? You have the Facebook reach and the Instagram reach plummeting through the floor, and everybody's freaking out, and I'm sure they're looking for something. Brands are sort of grasping at this point to try and find new channels. Yeah, no, I think Facebook, Instagram, Google, kind of the primary acquisition channels, they'll continue to crush it. Where we become valuable in that sense is really helping them.
gathering insights through conversations to help personalize those ads for your customers. Because obviously you can become a lot more intimate through kind of a messaging conversation than you would with like kind of a one-way blast. Like there's no input of information from the end customer. So we're able to learn a lot, get pretty intimate, almost like a friend.
Yeah.
But yeah, we're really not kind of aiming to go after kind of those primary acquisition channels.
Yeah. It's like a complement to like an optimization of.
We're more of a supplement. It's going to be super interesting to see kind of how those channels emerge though, you know?
Yeah.
I mean, you guys are obviously spending probably a good amount of money on acquiring customers through those guys. Yeah, I guess like how have you seen that transition?
I don't know, man. I mean, in the market, it's weird because, you know, and call it 2012, like, you know, the year I was graduating college, it was one of those things where like, you know, SEO was super, super easy still. Like you could just rank a site on Google overnight. Yeah. It was like, I'll just stuff a bunch of keywords and we're good. Number one.
Yeah.
You know, I was doing that for a while, and you know, you sort of see the email click rates that were super high and all those things. And then of course, Facebook, you used to have just this massive reach, and nobody really had smartphones. I remember when Instagram first came out, they only made it for iPhone. And I had a Droid. It was my first smartphone.
Right.
And I'm like, what the fuck, man?
Yeah.
I wanted Instagram so bad. I had to wait like 8 months before they developed the app. So, you know, it has changed so much. And I feel like, moreover, people, you know, we sort of are cybernetic organisms right now because you're constantly and consistently attached to this cell phone whoever's listening to this most likely has in their pocket or in their hand right now. And it's almost like this, you know, this symbiotic parasite, this technological parasite that's constantly connected to you, which is sort of where your platform lives. And so, you know, that's sort of how I've seen it change.
Yeah. No, it's going to be interesting. I mean, the cost to acquire a customer is just going to keep skyrocketing across every channel. The best brands are going to be the ones that figure out new ways to acquire those customers and kind of avoid the competition on that front. We'll see. It'll be interesting.
It will be interesting. I wonder if there's not a cap in terms of people's attention to technology too. Like, you know, text message is one thing that everybody's always going to have, and, you know, obviously an email, but I wonder, like, you know, are people going to start going back into the real world instead?
I think a pretty big trend we've seen, Apple kind of notifying you of your screen time.
Yeah.
I think there's going to be a lot of checks and balances. The social platforms, I think, will be next on that front. You know, like Facebook, they're considering whether they want to include likes on photos. I think we're definitely going, because legislation is now starting to consider getting involved. So the platforms are going to need to decide if they're going to step back or if they're going to let the U.S. kind of dictate that.
Oh, that's scary.
We'll see.
Oh, well, I mean, it's scary if you're one of those businesses and then you have, you know, the House Oversight Committee on old dudes and chicks just making laws about shit they don't know looking at you.
Yeah.
Like,
no, it's
fuck
true.
all that.
Yeah. I don't know what's going to happen there.
What do you think about Facebook and Instagram getting rid of the likes and all of that?
Yeah. We'll see. We'll see what happens. It's going to hurt their engagement, I think.
Yeah.
There's no question. I think that's a pretty fundamental part of those platforms. Also, on the other hand, they've built such a big audience up to this point that they're rarely competing. Like TikTok, Snapchat are really kind of the only other platforms. They're kind of different demographics.
Yeah.
But they don't have as much to be afraid of now, so they can afford to make those kind of more bold decisions.
Right.
We'll see. What are your thoughts?
I don't know, man. At the very first, I was like, no way. Getting rid of likes?
Yeah.
Come on, man.
Not going to happen.
Not going to happen. Or that it would be a bad idea, or you wouldn't be able to, you know, as a brand or a celebrity or whoever you are, really wouldn't be able to measure sort of the content. Now, I guess on the back end, you would still be able to see your level of engagement. So it would really be more of a front end user thing, whereas your back end user experience, if you're a brand or a business or whatever, you could still see everything.
I haven't thought about that.
Yeah.
They'll probably still display it to the individual.
That's what they're planning on doing. Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Okay. And so, like, from that perspective, I guess it's like, okay, but then it's like, okay, what are you doing on Instagram then? You just scrolling?
Yeah, no, I don't know.
You're commenting more? I don't know.
Yeah.
Because normally you're scrolling and then you pop, like, pop, right?
Yeah.
Double tap.
So I've actually cut Instagram 2 years ago. So I've been kind of removed. I know.
You are a rebel.
I know.
You don't do dangerous stuff and you're not even on Instagram.
Cut it.
Good on you, bro.
Cut it. Gone.
Like an addiction.
Yeah, no, I mean,
Just
I just didn't, I don't know. Didn't feel the need for it.
You on TikTok though?
No. My sister is though.
How old's your sister?
She is in college, first year of college. So
Okay.
yeah,
Yeah.
pretty young.
There's your demographic
That's a threat, that platform. They're next.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, they have the young Gen Z attention, which is really all that matters. Also, what's interesting about that age group is they don't use messaging as they're primarily on Snapchat for communication. They don't text. They rarely call. It's super interesting.
Yeah.
Snapchat actually is kind of the dark horse on that demographic.
You know what's weird though is like when I was in college is when Snapchat first came out.
Yeah.
And everyone was saying the same shit, which was true actually. Like I communicated in Snapchat constantly, almost exclusively to my friends, because you know you can just do dumb shit, right? Like put a unicorn head on you and then send them a little voice, like a video message or whatever it is, you know, or something that you maybe just want to take a photo of, you know, a bum taking a shit, and you don't want to have that video on your phone, you know. So like, boom, and send it. Yeah. But then over time, it just sort of became this thing where it's like, it's not as useful of a tool as I thought it used to be, or whatever it was. Yeah. But I even noticed myself over the last 2 years just not using it to communicate as much.
Yeah. We'll see.
TikTok's sick though.
Are you on TikTok?
I'm on the talk.
You're on the talk.
Whoever's out there, follow me on the talk.
Yeah, you
at Ingersoll and IK.
There we go. I was waiting for that. What are some of those videos looking like?
Well, actually, so I've been sort of like analyzing TikTok for probably a couple of months now, just like scrolling through the content, sort of seeing what's going on there, you know. Definitely trends younger, but there's certainly like Gen Z and millennials both on there, and then you have like old people too, just doing awkward shit, which is funny. But there's a couple interesting things, like there's all these weird sort of TikTok only memes that sprout up. So, you know, it's like this certain song that pops up and then you're pointing up at all these different words, like reasons why I'm single.
Right.
I'm not attractive. You haven't.
It's kind of like that Vine vibe.
It is Vine.
Yeah.
It literally functions almost exactly like Vine, except the videos can be a little bit longer and music's a bigger component.
Right.
And that's really it. I mean, you have one crazy thing about TikTok is there's a lot of musicians that can sort of use that as a discovery platform. Like there's some songs, dude, that I heard at the bar that like are from TikTok.
Yeah.
It's the only reason they're popular.
Yeah.
And so that's kind of wild. Same thing with like Old Town Road. TikTok is to blame.
You're joking.
Swear.
No way.
Blew up on TikTok. Something insane. Yeah.
It's the SoundCloud rapper part 2.
Basically, yeah. It's so crazy.
Wow.
And then the other interesting thing that is sort of a positive thing. So you think about Instagram and it's very sort of, I don't know, I guess the knock on Instagram is everyone's only posting the videos or pictures of their best selves. Pretty people, you know, airbrushed and, you know, all this kind of stuff. But then on TikTok, what I've noticed is a lot of people with like physical disabilities that have 1 million followers.
Oh, wow.
Like literal 1 million followers.
What do you mean by like
born without arms?
Oh, wow.
Like
that's pretty incredible, actually.
Really crazy, dude. Like, wow. I don't even know what the syndromes are, because I'm obviously not a doctor.
Right.
But like, you know, some like skeletal and head abnormalities, or they just, you know, look physically disabled. But meanwhile, they're like dancing to Old Town Road.
Right.
And it's kind of entertaining to watch and they love doing it. And then they have like 1.2 million followers.
Wow.
I'm like, whoa, that is like such the antithesis of Instagram in so many ways.
That would not exist on any other social channel
at all.
That's incredible. Yeah.
Yeah. That's one really cool thing I've seen.
Right.
You know, and then there's also a creepy thing I've seen.
Let's hear it.
Cops.
What do you mean?
All over the platform.
Like in uniform.
In uniform, bro. Sirens on the background. Fucking doing the dance to whatever.
How do you keep your job?
Dude,
that is all over the internet. That is for everybody to see.
That's why it's creepy, because I think so. All the cops are in on it. Maybe they're using it to catch, I don't know, criminals of some kind. I don't know what they're doing, or just trying to make themselves, you know, seem less scary or whatever.
Yeah.
But I don't know, dude. When I see a bunch of cops in full uniform on TikTok all the time, I'm just kind of like, I don't know, man. Like, I don't know.
Oh my god.
But that's another thing where on Instagram, you know, I just don't think that would have happened.
No, not at all.
Yeah.
No, I think each different channel is going to kind of allow a different behavior to emerge.
Yeah.
Which is where these gaps these gaps exist, frankly. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
What other gaps are you seeing out there?
I don't know, man.
Yeah.
I'm not a huge kind of social media guy.
Clearly, you don't have an Instagram. For
no, I
fuck's
know.
sake.
You're asking the wrong guy on the wrong show. Yeah, I don't know. I just think kind of the next wave is building a more intimate relationship. And I think it's just speaking from a brand's perspective, whatever they can do to just cut through the noise.
Yeah.
And speak on a more one-to-one basis. That's really kind of where things are going on a B2C level, at least. Yeah.
On a B2C level.
Yeah.
Right. Do you think Snapchat is going to allow like open API, semi-automated AI integration?
They should open their API. I think they have a pretty big opportunity to become kind of a business platform as well.
For sure.
I don't know if you guys are dabbling with Snapchat ads at all, but
I have before.
Okay.
Yeah, just the geo-targeted ones with the filters,
Right.
but yeah, nothing in the
I've seen some brands on our platform be pretty successful there. There's so much that can be unlocked though. I mean, just having your own channel as a brand and having people subscribe there and kind of stay tuned on new releases, and just give people kind of an insider's perspective on what's happening at the offices, and just, you know, that new layer of kind of communication hasn't really been emerged.
Well, that was Chubby's Shorts. Do you know Chubby's?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. So they built their entire business on Snapchat originally. Yeah. Because it was just completely orchestrated.
Yeah.
But office shenanigans style shit.
Right.
Hilarious. They did a incredible job. Just an incredible job.
Yeah. No brand's killing it right now is MeUndies.
Oh yeah.
I'm seeing them everywhere.
Well, they got some of the deepest pockets in their underwear. Yeah. Also the most comfortable underwear of all. I don't know if you ever worn any of those things.
I'm not wearing MeUndies right now.
Micro modal. Yeah. They're extremely comfortable. But yeah, they're on almost every podcast I listen to. It's crazy.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, billboards and yeah.
That's awesome.
I guess it's kind of easy to have something that fun to market.
Yeah, no, I mean, it definitely cuts kind of a lot of the attention barrier out of there. You can just dance around your underwear and you've pretty much grabbed your attention.
There's your ads right there.
Yeah, there we go.
There's your content.
Yeah, I guess just moving to food. What are some things you're seeing? What's next in that space?
Yeah, I think it's interesting because you see a lot of DTC brands in CPG starting to move towards retail because they sort of understand the acquisition costs that inevitably go up, and these sorts of struggles are having to reach more customers at a price that makes sense for lower priced goods. And alternatively, you see the inverse. So you also see traditional retail brands saying, oh man, how do we do Amazon.com? Right. How do we do our own website? How do we build a website on Shopify? What is a conversion metric like?
I think a really good case of that is Warby Parker opening these pop-up shops.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
I think that's the future right there.
Especially for that type of product where you physically kind of need to try it on. The same kind of goes for food, where it's pretty difficult to get someone to order a food product online for the first time. Oh, and there's tons of brands that are absolutely crushing it, but you have to be extremely different.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's where having a retail presence is super, super important.
Yeah, it is interesting. Yeah, I wonder if so these AI robots of the future, are they going to be eating food?
What do you mean?
I mean, probably not food like we think of food. Guess they just be eating batteries. They're just walking around munching lithium ions.
Are they going to eat food?
I don't know.
I don't think so. Yeah, that's the question.
We're almost like the DeLorean on Back to the Future.
Yeah,
just filling that up with garbage or something like that, and just converted it into energy.
Yeah,
dude.
Yeah, that's nuts. We'll see.
Hey, I think I've just found the future solution to the climate crisis.
Yeah.
Yep. Bunch of marauding giant robots that eat trash for food.
Yeah.
Yep.
after Barnana, if you guys sell, this is what's next, I think.
Dinosaur robots eating trash.
Where'd this come from? What kind of inspired this?
Well, I've been listening to podcasts for a super long time. I guess the main culprit to blame is Joe Rogan for the entire thing. Yeah.
Wow.
So I started listening to his podcast in 2011.
Yeah.
It's like super duper long time ago.
That is the early days of podcasts.
Oh,
Very
the
early
earliest.
days, yeah.
And my friend Josh actually turned me on to it, and he's like, have you ever heard of the Joe Rogan podcast? And I'm like, what's a podcast? Like, what are you talking about?
Yeah.
And I started listening to it. I'm like, oh man, this is awesome. And then, of course, listened to a ton of them since, the Freakonomics and all of the NPR style podcasts and a bunch of comedy podcasts and things like that. But that's really what it was. I just really love the medium. And now that I'm used to hearing myself talk, it's not as bad. Yeah. What kind of podcast do you normally listen to? Like, what's your lane?
Yeah, when I'm not listening to the Nick Ingersoll show.
There we go.
I think I spend a lot of time on SaaS podcasts. Obviously, like SaaStr, really good one with Harry Stebbings. 20-minute VCs, good. These are mostly software related.
Yeah.
So not relevant to a lot of businesses, but how we built this on NPR is pretty solid.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean those are kind of the main ones.
Interesting. Yeah. I feel like one interesting thing about business is people hear about technology, they hear about code, and they get scared. Like even whether it's CPG or anywhere else, like a lot of people, it just seems all this technology stuff, and even people of our generation, like there's a big misconception that sort of the millennial generation, and by the way, this will also apply to everyone who's in Gen Z. Not all of them are going to be that good at technology. Mm-hmm. Like there's just in every generation, it's not that all of the young people, maybe they know how to use Snapchat. Yeah. But that, that doesn't mean they can build a Shopify site.
Oh, absolutely. I think obviously exposure is going to hit the younger crowd at a more consistent rate moving forward. Yeah. As technology just penetrates everybody's life, but that doesn't mean everyone's going to become technical. I think we will start seeing more kind of computer science in the public school education system.
Hopefully.
Being required. Yeah, I mean, that's pretty common in most other countries, actually. US is pretty far behind. I just know most of kind of the Asian countries, that is standard practice.
Yeah, it wasn't my school, my high school at least.
It was required.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Okay. That's really surprising, actually.
Especially for rural Western Nebraska. Shout out to Scotts Bluff for seeing the future there.
No, that's interesting.
Yeah, it was actually today I was at the doctor and they're, weighing you. And, I'm weighing in at like 93 kilograms. And she's like, do you want to know what that is in pounds? I'm like,
fuck no.
No, I already know. She's like, Like, was this thing? Like, she's like, I have to do the conversion every time. I'm like, I learned the metric system in school because...
Wow.
Yeah, in elementary school, what all my teachers were telling me is, hey, just to let you know, by the time you're in high school... metric system is all we're going to be using.
That's why.
It was a total lie, but
okay, there we go.
But it was also great.
I was like, Nebraska, interesting.
Yeah, so we learned it all the way through. And by the way, it's just a better system to measure stuff. It just is.
Why?
Because everything's based on 10.
Oh, got it.
Yeah,
I'd never put that together.
Well, like how many ounces are in a quart?
I don't know.
Exactly. You know what I mean? Yeah. It's just like how many are in a teaspoon? How many teaspoons are in a cup? Like what the fuck? There's no standard.
Right.
Yeah. There's no standard. When you're thinking about coding and all of that, like what languages are you fucking with right now?
Yeah, so I'm actually not technical, which is super interesting.
But the team.
Like, so we're on Python, Django. Which are pretty common languages for just what we're building. Yeah, I think also just like languages will develop a lot as well as time progresses. Yeah. Go is Google's kind of internal language they built that's starting to become super popular. We'll see other companies kind of develop their own set of languages as well. Which is just another ballgame.
Oh, that's an interesting thought. So, it's kind of scary actually, right? Because traditionally you've had these open source languages, right? Like your LAMP stacks and your whatevers. And then all of a sudden you're just going to have the Google language.
Yeah.
And then the Facebook language.
Yeah.
And then the Amazon language.
Talk about defensibility right there.
Ooh,
Yeah.
scary. Maybe I do want the government to step in after all.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. Because if they, I mean, there's just so much IP involved. And obviously as a publicly traded company, you know, even if it's sort of open source in theory, they still have
They set the rules, right?
Yeah.
No, it's true.
Whoa.
I know.
That's crazy, dude.
It's nuts.
How about you guys messing with any Ruby on Rails?
Our old code base was in Ruby.
Nice.
Yeah. The problem is there's not a ton of Ruby on Rails engineers in the city. Are you familiar or?
Yeah, I'm familiar with Ruby on Rails.
You had an AR company at one point, didn't you?
I did, yeah. Augmented reality company back in the LAMP stack only days, you know. But yeah, I still code HTML, CSS, and a little bit of Java.
What are you using it for mainly?
Mostly sites.
For your site or?
Just websites in general.
Okay.
Yeah, I built a bajillion of them.
Oh, really?
Yeah, actually the AR company was bred out of having the services company where I would design and develop websites for whatever business or person that wanted one. And then my business partner in there would do all of the SEO. So we were like this 1-2 punch. We're like, oh, we're going to do this SEM shop, you know, and make these sites and get them ranked and all that kind of stuff.
Nice. So the AR company, were you in college at that?
Yeah.
Okay. And then Banana
Also,
at same time.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, shortly thereafter.
How did that formulate?
Well, it was, you know, I just like constant iteration, you know, and it wasn't even, you know, I had a sort of a supplement retail business before that too. And I was just doing all kinds of stuff all throughout college. I always had some sort of full-time job because my family has no money. There was nowhere for me to go. And so I wasn't making any cash. I wasn't gonna be able to pay tuition or rent or anything else. And, you know, so it was just like absolute mandated by the universe hustle mode.
Right.
Actually started out painting stuff. Yeah, like this painting over there on the wall. And so I'd go to galleries and sell paintings and things. But I'll tell you what, that is tough business. Because once you find out like what the market for paintings are, it'll break your heart.
What is the market for paintings?
Rich people hiding their cash.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh man.
It's like an asset, right? So, and so unless you have a name, right, like Banksy or whoever, then they'll just hold it, and then it's just like, you know, it's just an asset. It's just cash on a wall, and then they can sell it at any given time in the future or whatever it is. It's like collecting wine or, you know, any number of things that people also do.
Right.
Yeah, and it increases in value over time. The rate of return on wine apparently is pretty high. From what I understand, yeah.
Okay.
I think, and my numbers are going to be completely off here, but someone was saying on average over the last 30 years, it had like a 6% annual return on like, you know, vintage whatever wines.
Yeah. That's insane.
I was like, and I'm a wine like white belt, big, or maybe a blue belt, but
belt.
Yeah, okay. Just totally not
close to white as possible.
Yeah.
Okay, so AR company in college, Banana launched kind of at a similar time.
Yeah.
How did that kind of play out?
You know, it just played, you know, we just went out there and went to the market and did the thing. When did you graduate actually?
So I'm a year ago.
A year ago.
I'm like 24 years old. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm a baby.
That's right. So you're about 20. So you're about what, 6 years younger than me.
Yeah.
Look at that. So we got a fresh college graduate out here. You went to SC?
Yeah, I did.
How's that going recently?
Yeah. No, I mean, let's not talk about that. No, I mean, it's insane. It's nuts.
Yeah. You know, it's funny. I don't think a lot of people even know about it, really. I mean, they kind of do about the USC, like, right. You know, the fake water polo players and all that.
The funniest thing is that this has probably happened on such a larger scale than what's been exposed.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll see what happens. This is really just making an example of a handful of people, and then we'll see what happens. It's super interesting.
Yeah, it is interesting. SC. And did you grow up in LA? Where?
Yeah, so I grew up in LA. Yeah, so I ended up at SC, just kind of got into that story. So co-founder and I, we started, our first business was actually a loyalty platform for the cannabis space.
There we go.
So we basically, it was funny, we didn't actually smoke weed, but we saw a massive opportunity. Obviously that market was kind of exploding, and we thought that the dispensaries could just use better kind of CRM to help engage their customer base. So we built a loyalty platform. You basically sign in your phone. We use text message to re-engage you and get you back in the store. And that was kind of that platform. Yeah, it was a huge wake up call. Like two kind of Jews from the valley walking into dispensaries with guns on the table and like wads of cash around us, and it was an interesting kind of couple years there.
Yeah,
to say the least. Yeah,
I've had some experience in that space as well. Yeah.
What year was that?
2010.
Okay, so that was probably even more extreme.
Oh yeah,
that was like when drug dealers were probably just opening stores and calling it a dispensary.
Yeah. And by the way, it's still that.
Yeah, no, it really is. It's now starting to become more regulated, but it's surprising.
But the problem is, it's more regulated, and maybe they have their shit buttoned up a little bit better,
right.
And there's maybe a couple less pit bulls in the building.
Yeah,
but like literal pit bulls in the building. But a couple less gats. But it's still like once you've been sort of in that black market ecosystem for so long, they're the growers, they're the middlemen, the distributors, brokers, dealers, distributors, like. But of course, like that's going to be sort of the roots of that business, albeit legitimate now.
Yeah.
Which I'm a major marijuana proponent. Don't get me wrong, but there's a dark underbelly there.
Yeah, no, we're seeing a lot of these kind of, at least on the CBD end, they're starting to develop presence online. So Shopify and some of these other larger platforms are allowing CBD to sell through those channels, which is interesting. Yeah,
the CBD thing is interesting. What's the craziest dispensary story you ever experienced selling that loyalty program?
Yeah, so we there's a bunch of crazy stories that I probably can't say on air.
You can say whatever you want.
One crazy one. We walked into this one store and we were installing this guy, and we walked to the back, and I've had a couple conversations. So basically this was a fully outbound sales motion. So we were going door to door, just hammering down,
get some,
like 30 stores a day, super transactional sale. Do you want this or not type of deal, right? Like give us cash if you do. That's just how it goes. That's who we were selling to. And we actually learned a lot about selling. If you can sell in those environments, you can pretty much sell anything. So yeah, we walked into the store, we're installing this guy, and we're like, hey, Tommy, we go to the back. This guy is sitting down. Literally, I think like every single bone in his body was broken. And we're like, Tommy, what's wrong? He's like, I fell off a ladder. And we're like, wow, the mafia like probably just ruined this guy. And at that moment, I was like, we need to get out of this industry. And that's actually what happened. So what ended up happening is we were doing well, actually. We're growing. We just didn't see this becoming a huge business. Like you can't really build a big software business within that space. And we just did not like kind of the individuals we were selling to. So the kind of most engaging part of the platform at that point was the messaging component. So we were seeing a lot of the kind of store, they call them bud tenders, just like build relationships with their customers over text. And that was a major reason why you'd come back and purchase. So what we ended up doing is stripping down the platform and leveraging that and just going after a bigger market. And that's transitioned into Emotiv.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, that guy for sure got beat up. Huh?
Oh, 1,000%.
Yeah. I fell off a ladder.
Yeah.
What were you climbing, bro?
Yeah, no, it was pretty nuts.
Climbing the walls to escape a mafia hit?
Yeah. It was weird. We'd actually go to class from like 9 to 12, get out of class and just drive around Los Angeles, just going door to door selling this thing. It was nuts. It worked. Like you had to do it for that type of sale.
Yeah.
Because nothing existed on the internet yet.
And even still, that space is very door to door. It's very brick and mortar, old school. Like, even if you're trying to sell a whatever into a dispensary, you're going to have to go into the door itself.
Oh, yeah.
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 It's,
We'll see what happens with that space. I think it will definitely just morph into general retail.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just don't know if that's going to exist as kind of its separate industry in the long run, but we'll see the bigger players come in and buy out a lot of the winners from this kind of early stage.
Yeah, you'll have those medmen go in there and do their thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's probably better though, huh?
Yeah, no, that's what should happen.
Yeah. But if you look at the alcohol space, which I guess is the closest and only corollary,
it really is.
You sort of have like, Fahim's liquor store, who's also selling like, illegal like rhino dick pills from China or whatever,
Yeah.
and then also like Jack Daniels, and then you also have Bevmo.
No, I know that's also an interesting space, but I'm not sure if it's gonna look the same. I really don't know.
I don't either.
Yeah,
I wonder. I do wonder.
Yeah.
You know what? What also was weird is, you remember all that spice, the fake, the synthetic THC?
Yes, I do.
Man, it's all but gone away now that these states are finally legalizing THC. Dude,
that was dangerous.
Yeah,
for a while.
So dangerous.
That was very dangerous.
Selling it as catnip. Come on over to the store, get some catnip. Smoking catnip.
I think that was a little bit before my time, but. No, I mean that I've definitely heard stories.
Yeah, I mean it depends on like what state you're in, well, and how much drugs you're consuming, I guess. But this is probably even in 2013, it was pretty prevalent. Yeah,
that's interesting.
This is crazy. There's still I don't know how anybody's getting away with it, but there's still a bunch of like crazy, like not technically illegal, but certainly like. In like theory illegal drugs at liquor marts literally everywhere in LA.
Really?
Yeah.
I haven't noticed.
Bro, next time you walk into even a Shell station, look at the back row and look for the rhinoceroses.
Is this real?
I swear. Every single one on Santa Monica Boulevard.
Do you want to clarify what a rhino is?
Yeah, it's a dick pill.
Oh, it is.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, but so it has this rhino on the front, and then if you look at the ingredients on the back, it'll say like crushed up ants. Literally, it'll say like pixie dust, you know. And but it's generic Cialis or Viagra, and sometimes they put steroids in there. None of it's dosed.
Oh my god.
Yeah, dude, and they're almost everywhere. I learned about the rhino dick pills, I think, on one of Joe Rogan's podcasts.
From experience, right?
Oh, yeah, no, totally. Yeah, it's so scary. Can you imagine? Just taking one of the whoosh. And so I started paying attention, and they are in almost every single convenience store in LA.
They're probably crushing it too.
Oh,
if they're that distributed.
Dude!
Yeah, that's good shelf space right there.
Great shelf space. Yeah. I mean, eye level, right next to the tobacco.
Yeah.
You know?
No, I mean, that is the consumer who's buying those things anyway. Yeah.
That's true.
That's funny.
Right next to the little 2-shot, tequila shots.
Yeah.
Yeah, right there.
Crazy.
Talk about merchandising.
Oh my God.
Yeah, the good news is, you don't have to make a lot of things illegal. You just let them do their thing. The market will play it out, I think, for the most part.
Yeah, we'll see what happens with this whole vaping thing as well. I think that's next to go.
Vaping. You know what's weird about vaping though? I think so. It's 18 deaths this year, I think, is the last thing I saw from whatever news network that was. So okay, 18 deaths a year, terrible. Don't know what they were vaping. Who knows? Super unregulated, by the way. Like they are just kind of selling the rhino dick pill equivalents of vape like everywhere. Super like some dude just making it in his kitchen and like selling it at a smoke shop. So sketchy. But then if you look at the deaths per year on cigarette usage, 400,000 people a year.
Yeah.
And then another 87,000 from secondhand smoke.
Yeah, I think the fact that it's kids getting affected just makes this problem so much more amplified in the media.
Yeah.
And it's also just so untested, like no one knows the long-term implications of this stuff.
Right.
No, but I mean, if you compare it side by side, it's not even close.
Yeah.
Obviously, but
yeah, it's interesting.
No, we'll see what happens.
You think they'll do a full-on ban?
No, I don't know.
Yeah, I think
Juul sold at the right time, though. That's what I do know.
Oh, yeah.
They knew this was coming.
Raking in the cheddar.
Yeah. What was that? A couple billion?
Oh, yeah. I think their latest valuation is like $14 billion.
Yeah, several billion, yeah.
I think Altria, they sold 60%.
It's like a majority stake. Yeah, exactly.
Cool. Crushing it. Crushed it.
Yeah.
And in theory, too, yeah, I think that vaping, a Juul, that is, not like one of these sketchy, fucking Pedro's vape liquid that he's making in his bathtub or whatever, but, something like a Juul is definitely going to be better for you than a straight up cigarette with the tar and the carcinogens on a 1-to-1 basis.
Yeah, I've been really interested in how they're marketing their product because they've really tried to shift the theme to more of a replacement rather than obviously going after children.
Right.
And that's how they can defend themselves and stay relevant.
Yeah.
Because if you look at it that way, it is a different perspective. It's probably better for society in the long run.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll see what happens.
Yeah, the
We'll see
problem
what
is
happens.
I don't know. What I see at least is that instead of, in theory, it sounds good, right? So you have this inhalable form of nicotine, and you're going to replace a more carcinogenic form of inhalable nicotine, which is the cigarette.
Yeah.
So you would think if you just replace 1-to-1, bop bop, that would be a net positive. But what's actually happening is people who would not smoke cigarettes at all are vaping.
Yes, yeah. No, that is it's getting a whole new generation addicted on this stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's actually increasing the total amount of
Exponentially,
inhaling
probably.
nicotine.
For
Yeah.
that age group, at least. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I mean, even our age group, dude. There's so many people vaping.
Yeah, no, there are.
Yeah.
Nuts.
I mean, in college, how many people were vaping?
Everyone.
Everybody. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like everybody.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that is fascinating. I wonder what'll happen. And, I think back and, my dad, he had this boss when I was a little kid who smoked Camel cigarettes. And so this boss would collect all these Camel points. Yeah. Like, you get a point for buying a pack or whatever. And then you would redeem it for Camel gear.
Wow.
And there was Joe Camel.
Don't you guys have the Barnett? You have something similar to Barnett.
Oh, yeah, we got Gorilla Gear.
Is that based off of...
Definitely not. Maybe subliminally in some way. But, never really tied those two things together.
Oh, my God. Yeah.
But yeah, my parents didn't smoke, but
Right.
his boss did, and he would give him all these points. My dad's like, yeah, I'm collecting these points because I can get like hats and backpacks and stuff.
Yeah.
And then I would see this cartoon character of Joe Camel, and I remember being a little kid, probably, I don't know, 4, 5, 6 years old, and being like, oh man, that's so cool. It's the Camel guy.
Yeah.
He's playing pool. So cool. And it's kind of what Jewel was doing. Not like, so obviously, but sort of doing it like that.
Yeah. No, it's interesting. We'll see what happens with them. I have no idea.
Here's some Fruity Pebbles, vape.
Yeah, exactly.
Don't give it to your kids.
Yeah. Speaking of Fruity Pebbles, there's one DTC brand. Have you heard? What's that cereal brand?
You're thinking of Magic Spoon,
Yes.
aren't you? Yeah.
They're crushing it right now. Yeah.
Yeah, they're second-time founders. They had founded a mushroom company before that.
Got it.
Yeah, it was like it was like a grow your own mushroom, like the edible type. Not the, well, I guess all, even the edible ones can make you trip out on a psychedelic adventure. But these are the non-psychedelic mushrooms. Yeah, they would sell them in stores, and then you could go and grow your own fresh mushrooms and do that. Yeah, and this is sort of their new thing is the Magic Spoon.
Yeah, I mean, there's not really a ton of competition in that space.
Yeah, you have some like entrenched ones, like your Nature's
legacy
Path and thing. But yeah, it's been a little bit stale. Yeah.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of. I mean, that's a part of the industry where it's just pure legacy brands, right?
Yeah.
The Captain Crunches, people that are just waiting to get disrupted. So
Yeah.
we'll see. I think that's a really good space.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, I think I'm still waiting for the all monk fruit, Fruity Pebbles.
Got it.
Yeah. What was your favorite cereal? Did you have cereal? Did you eat cereal as a kid?
Yeah, I was a big Honey Nut Cheerio guy.
Ooh, Honey Nut Cheerio.
Those were good.
I'm not mad at that.
No.
You know what I did
Can't
the other
complain.
day? I was sick, and by the other day, I mean several months ago.
Okay.
But I was feeling sick, and so I went to the store, and I'm like, you know what? I am going to get some goddamn Cocoa Pebbles.
Right.
Fuck it.
Boom.
Live once. A little bit of diabetes right now. No big deal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Are you a big breakfast guy?
No, I intermittently fast
you
most
do?
days.
Okay. What other diets are you experimenting with right now?
Typically I'm doing some type of intermittent fasting protocol with a very short eating window.
Okay.
And maybe 2 meals, depending on the amount of training that I'm doing, which right now isn't a ton because I'm just doing a bunch of other shit. But yeah, generally sort of a cyclical ketogenic intermittent fasting diet is sort of my baseline.
How has that affected your energy?
Well, I'm pretty used to it. I was in really strict ketosis for a couple of years. Yeah.
Years.
Yeah.
Isn't that supposed to be like a 1 month max type of?
No.
Really?
Definitely not. No.
Okay.
And once you're only a month into ketosis, you've really just started. Your body's just getting used to it, actually.
Okay.
Yeah. So if you're on a keto diet for 2 weeks, like you haven't even achieved the results that you would be looking for in ketosis. But I just try and cut down on carbs unless it's in or around a workout, like a post-workout or a pre-workout.
Got it.
Yeah.
Okay.
You doing any kind of weird diet shit?
No,
Like
we have
that kind
a lot of our kind of team is experimenting here.
Ah.
Yeah, so we'll see. I think ketosis or the keto diet, intermittent fasting is those are probably the two most popular I've seen. But
Yeah. You ever heard of the carnivore diet?
Is that meat and nuts?
It's
primarily?
meat only.
Oh, meat only.
Yeah, it's
Okay.
like the opposite of the vegan diet.
Got it.
There is, dude. I'm sure it appears to be working for some people.
Yeah.
I don't think it's probably the best thing for most people, but it looks like some people are doing it. Same goes for veganism for that matter. But there's this guy named Dr. Sean Baker. And if you look at Sean Baker's Instagram, and if you're vegan, trigger alert, don't do it. Yeah, for sure, don't go to his page. But he is like the super anti-vegan carnivore meat doctor guy.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, and every one of his posts is just like this video like breakfast time, and then it's just 3 ribeyes. Like, dude, this guy is insane.
Wow. That is not good on the stomach.
I mean, apparently he's like 54,
Yeah.
Shred City,
Right.
doing his thing.
Yeah.
Highly
It's just all
productive.
protein.
Yeah, and fat.
Pure protein, yeah.
Yeah, it's almost like a ketogenic diet because you're getting, a lot of fat from the ribeye and things, but probably not enough fat to really be in ketosis, because if you consume too much protein, actually it'll convert into glucose.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it'll kick you out of ketosis if you have too much protein.
I didn't know that. Okay.
Yeah, not that I geek out on diets at all.
You are in the food space, so
It does make
this
sense.
is your job. Yeah.
that does make sense.
No, that's awesome.
But I want to try it.
Yeah, you should. Go
Just
for it.
Eat ribeyes for like 3 weeks.
Yeah, call me after 2 weeks and let me know. Yeah.
Yeah, after I'm just like fucking crawling on the ground, turn into a zombie.
Yeah. There we go.
Yeah, I don't know if that's the best idea, but I'm willing to try it out.
Yeah. I don't know. I've considered the keto diet.
Yeah.
I just don't know. I don't know if I could make it, to be
No.
honest. So I actually grew up with Crohn's. So that's partly why I've kind of stayed away from a lot of these different types of diets.
Yeah.
That was super pivotal, by the way, and just helping me emerge. And that's probably why I've kind of taken a lot of these leaps. It's been really positive for a lot of things in my life, but I've definitely had to stay away from the diets, unfortunately.
Wow, interesting. Yeah, sometimes it's like one of those things where like a difficulty happens in your life and then a bunch of positive things happen as a result because it just shifts you one degree in that direction.
Absolutely. Like a logical person wouldn't like start a company out of college unless you really have nothing to lose, and you definitely need to just if you're used to going through just difficult things, you're gonna be much more likely to jump in the future.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
And so with your text message platform now, and you started this when you guys were still in college, like what's the next step? Is it sort of user adoption and getting the word out there? It's an awesome platform already. Of course, you'll be iterating on that, but like what's the future look like?
Yeah, so the last year, so we launched this one about 12 months ago. We've built a really good distribution strategy, so we've been scaling really well. I think the next step is really it's just further scale. So we just raised some money, which is awesome. Allow us to kind of triple, quadruple the team over the next year. So it's going to be mainly customer acquisition and then just refining the product there. That's really the two main goals moving forward.
Nice.
Yeah.
And by sort of scaling the customer base, I guess that does not include talking to Kenny at the weed shop.
No.
Yeah. It doesn't include any mob hits.
Inside sales, definitely a different ballgame. Much better business.
Is there what is there like a learning lesson from talking to old Jimmy, leg broke Jimmy?
Yeah, I think the lesson there is it's really important to choose a big industry that you can actually go after. Like it's important to go after educated buyers, right? It's hard to sell technology to people who don't see value in technology. A lot of people in the kind of CPG direct to consumer space are generally early adopters of tech and just things in general. Like a lot of startups, a lot of entrepreneurs. So it definitely makes our life a lot easier because they're just more open to new ideas. Like direct consumer, just e-commerce in general is fairly new, right? So that's been great. Market timing is super important whenever you start a company, especially in software. there's a ton of learnings there.
Yeah, that's interesting. Yeah, the market size and who you're selling to is an important one.
Yes.
Yeah, yeah. You don't want to be just, it's a highly unscalable thing, just walking into every single dispensary.
Yeah, no, I think it's super different with direct to consumer and just consumer in general. Like, you're ultimately going after millions of individuals. With B2B SaaS, you need, in order to build a big business, you need to tell a good story on how you can get to $100 million in revenue.
Right.
If you can't tell that story, it's going to be really difficult to attract employees, raise capital, and build a big business, right?
Yeah.
That's something we've really learned the past kind of 6 to 8 months here.
B2B SaaS.
Yeah,
B2B SaaS. I actually follow a lot of VCs that are involved in the B2B SaaS world for whatever reason on Twitter. So I'm just always reading their stuff. Yeah. Yeah. The $100 million ARR and the fucking all the,
Yeah. No, it's interesting because SaaS is it's super repeatable business model. So a lot of kind of the trade secrets are pretty transferable, which is why you have a lot of these thought leaders like Jason Lemkin. You probably, most people don't know these guys, at least listening to
a couple of them.
Okay, yeah, no, I mean, there's a bunch of them. But yeah, there's a lot of lessons to be learned from kind of the vets there.
Right. Yeah. B2B SaaS is an incredibly interesting space. And it's also, kind of the unsexy space.
Yeah, that's what we hear.
I mean, just because if you're Snapchat, right? Like, it's on your phone. It's on everyone's phone.
It's so funny because we literally had an investor, like our lead investor, who's going to be doing this round, literally told us, like, you know what, you're not in a sexy space, but I think you can make a shit ton of money.
Yeah.
And it's funny because I don't think it's unsexy. Obviously, I wouldn't be running this business, but
me neither.
If you compared to most like consumer businesses, like the average consumer does not think this is interesting, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
It's funny. It's just funny to hear.
It's just highly technical.
Yeah, and it's it's just it's different. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like I don't know, like what's with alcohol or like a CBG brand, you just walked into a store and literally anybody can just walk into a store and buy a Butterfinger.
Yeah.
And then but not everybody can just be like, "Oh, I'm going to build a business to use a B2B SaaS platform."
Right. Yeah, no, I mean not many people think about business to business software while they're going to sleep at night.
But you know what's kind of nice? Well, except for maybe me. Yeah. And you obviously.
Yeah.
It's interesting too, like with B2B SaaS, you're dealing with a fundamentally different type of customer too. Like if you're making Madre's mezcal or whatever, you kind of have to talk to everybody. Your construction worker and your PhD scientist and everybody in between.
Totally. So yeah, it's super important, at least for my space, to focus on who's the right buyer, and really go after those early adopters and build a perfect product for kind of a smaller niche at the beginning, and then kind of widen and like ride your adoption curve from there. But yeah, no, it's just very different than building consumer business, right? You don't need to appeal to. I mean, we were talking earlier, the consumer in Whole Foods versus a guy in Nebraska who has never been to a Whole Foods, probably, right? Yeah. It's just it's a different type of focus.
Yeah, that's awesome.
It's different. Yeah.
Well, if people want to check out Emotiv, where do they go?
Emotiv.io.
Emotiv.io. And for you out there that doesn't know what .io is all about, it's what all the cool tech companies do to stay hip.
Yeah, it's when .com is very expensive.
Yeah. So when all those one-word TLDs are taken up.
Yes, exactly.
That's awesome, man. Anywhere else you'd like to point them to?
No, that's our website.
Emotiv.io. If you want to connect with your customers and also have some robots do it, that's where you go.
Boom.
Thanks, dude.
All right, thanks for having me.
Appreciate it.
All right.
Welcome to the Nick Ingersoll Show.
Thank you all so much for listening to the show. I hope you enjoyed the conversation with Brian and the robots taking over the earth. If you haven't pressed subscribe, please do it now. I would really appreciate it if you did. That's what keeps the lights on around here. Speaking of keeping the lights on, if you want to click on any of the links in the description of this show, you can get yourself some free cryptocurrencies. You can buy some hats and things that I like to design on my free time and all sorts of things like that. So check those out in the show notes. And until next time, I will chat at y'all in. Peace.